What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, the JJ Search, coming at you with another video. I got here an unconventional kind of video, a little overview of Barry Lopez, project for my narrative journalism class, and yeah, I'm supposed to give an overview, little biography about Barry Lopez and his work as a journalist. So in terms of background, Barry Lopez was an essayist. He's an author. He's a short story writer. He travels a lot, and actually a lot of his work is based on environmentalism too. He's also a landscape photographer. He's also an occasional teacher and lecturer. He was a Welsh Professor of American Studies at the University of Notre Dame and Glenn Distinguished Professor at Washington and Lee University. In terms of other background, Barry Lopez has an award in literature from the American Academy of Arts and Letters. He has a John Hay Medal Award, Guggenheim, Lannan, and National Science Foundation fellowships. He has pushcart prizes in fiction and nonfiction, St. Francis of Assisi Award from DePaul University, Denis Levertov Award from Images Magazine, and he has honors from the Academy of Television, Arts, and Sciences, an Association of American Geographers, New York Public Library, Nature Conservancy, and the American Society of Magazine Editors. And he's also the fellow of the Explorers Club. Some of Barry Lopez's work include The Arctic Dreams, which received the National Book Award of Wolves and Men, a National Book Award finalist, John Burroughs and Christopher Meadows. He has 8 works of fiction. He has essays found in Crossing Open Ground and About This Life. And he has contributions to Harper's Granta, the Georgia Review, Orion, Outside the Paris Review, Manoa, and other publications in the United States and abroad. So Barry Lopez is primarily known for his writing in humanitarian and environmental concerns. In his nonfiction writing focus, he writes about the relationship between the physical landscapes and human culture. And then in his fictional side of writing, he frequently addresses the issues of intimacy, ethics, and identity. In an interview with the Sacred Land Film Project, Barry Lopez describes his approach when writing. He was talking with a folk man about the difference between fiction and nonfiction. However, he describes it as the difference between an authentic and an inauthentic story, where an authentic story is writing about the us and the inauthentic story is writing about yourself. When crafting these narratives and these stories, Barry Lopez is trying to write about the truth. He has an emphasis on the community. He also describes the 2 requirements of the story. The story first has to help, and that the story has to be about us. And to quote that interview, Barry Lopez says, "The story that you tell as a storyteller is not worth our listening to if it's just about you." Another approach for Barry Lopez and his writing was given at a talk for the Literary Arts Find Your Story Here in March 19, 1992, Portland, Oregon. In that talk, Barry Lopez discusses the differences between exterior and interior landscapes. Exterior landscapes meaning the city outside, physical locations, line, color, the shapes of the land. It's capable of being discernible. The exterior consists of the observations that one makes. This is opposed to the interior landscape, and this interior landscape consists of the emotional attachment to a place. It's often described as complex, mysterious. And so Barry Lopez describes the story as this relationship between the exterior and interior. It connects the exterior to the interior. And so it's the writer that combines these methods to physically affect the reader, to describe the exterior, to invoke that interior landscape. The reader should feel and know the energy behind the story. It's like a sense of immersion in a way. So the reason why I wanted to actually research who Barry Lopez is because I did some initial research on Barry Lopez when I had to pick for the class on who I wanted to research. He really discusses environmentalism in his works, and that is an issue that really holds to my heart because I practically grew up on the road, touring across the country, visiting national parks, living in nature and stuff. So I wanted to see what kind of writing someone can do based on being in nature and traveling. So the first story that we're going to be looking at is the Museum of Game Balls by Barry Lopez, which can be found in the Manoa issue of January 2011. So the Museum of Game Balls is about the narrator, Mr. Balewa, his visit to Patma Lu'umala Korkawaitis, the master of game balls. And so Mr. Korkawaitis is a rich man, has a fascination with historical ball bearings and sports balls. To not spoil the story too much, it's revealed that the narrator and this Mr. Korkawaitis have a lot more in common than their similar interest in sports balls. And so when the big twist happens in the story, Mr. Balewa has this internalized conflict within him, and he has to try and figure out what to do with that in a way. So here we have a snippet of the story that I thought really spoke out to me. People are greedy, Mr. Balewa. When they try to be clever about it, they amuse me. Before you come back, please remind yourself why you came here in the first place and what it is you expect to gain by coming back to see me. The next piece of work that we'll be looking at is The Invitation by Barry Lopez. The Invitation is an essay written by Barry Lopez that is in the autumn 2015 issue of the British journal Granta. So in The Invitation, Barry Lopez reflects on his travels with indigenous people. He examines what it means to be present in, to gather meaning from, and to know landscape. He does this by reflecting on what it means to see a bear in the wild. Here we have a snippet of The Invitation. Existential loneliness, and a sense that one's life is inconsequential, both of which are hallmarks of modern civilizations, seem to me to derive in part from our abandoning a belief in the therapeutic dimensions of a relationship with place. A continually refreshed sense of the unplumbable complexity of patterns in the natural world, patterns that are ever present and discernible, and which incorporate the observer, undermine the feeling that one is alone in the world, or meaningless in it. The effort to know a place deeply is ultimately an expression of the human desire to belong, to fit somewhere. Ultimately, this ties in that relationship between that physical place and that human identity. What does it mean to be here? What's our purpose? To me, when I was reading that part of the essay, I was really connected and moved by that because of my own journey of discovering who I am based on a home that I don't know. Growing up as a Filipino American, I don't really know what it's like in my home country, in my motherland. Not knowing that where I belong in this context in a way. I definitely recommend to check out these two stories, The Museum of Game Balls and The Invitation. I'll leave links in the description down below. I'll also leave links to the various podcasts, interviews, and talks that Barry Lopez has done that I looked at and saw in preparation for this project. I'll also leave a link to Barry Lopez's website and blog in the description down below so that you can check out some of his other work and read some of his writing. All right, y'all, that was my project for Barry Lopez. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys like this biography style video? There were other writers that were featured in my class, so maybe I'll look into those in a future video. I don't know. Make sure you go check out Barry Lopez and his work in the description down below. Check out those links. Make sure you give a like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video. And this is the JJ Search signing out. Thanks for watching.